Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an author, speaker, and proud father. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Many money men are low key. Many money men are low key. You know what? On my men's channel, I had a video. It was one of my viral videos. It was called Many Successful Black Men Are Low Key, right? And it was a few years ago, and I still get comments on it to this day, right? And, in this one, I know I have more than just black women on this channel, even though some people don't seem to get that point. Some men don't get that point, but whatever. I know I got more. But regardless of your race, ethnic background, religion, or, especially class, the thing is, regardless, men who make money ain't all spectacular. And I know that, you got like a lot of level up groups looking for, that money man. And the reason why I'm emphasizing, I know it's not just a black woman thing, because I'm aware of some white women's groups who are doing the exact same thing. So, and whatever the race, that money man ain't always obvious. Because there's always that feeling like if a guy got a lot of money, he's gonna like be driving a fancy car, have like the great suits on and everything. Not really. In fact, when you see a lot of fancy cars someplace, if you take a real good look at the man driving, he might have some decent money. He might have some decent money, but he ain't no millionaire. He ain't making $250,000 a year. He might be making six figures, but a lot of times it's a high five figures. Because what happens is the men who they make just enough maybe to pay for, that car and all of that, they doing it as a show. But when you get men who get beyond that, they don't put their money into things like that unless they can just happen to pay cash for it, even then, because they don't like calling attention to themselves. Like if they, they'll wear something stylish if they got to go to an important business meeting or event or something, and they'll keep it for that. But most of the time, they might just wear ordinary clothing, right? Because I remember, this was back in the 90s. I was able to attend a meeting. I can't say why, but it was of Washington, D.C.'s True Power Brokers. And it was a good mix. Well, mostly white men there. And, I had some brothers there and everything. I was noticing, the men there they were all right, but they weren't making the same money as these guys. These guys like own major businesses in the DC area. And they were just dressed all casual and everything. They were dressed all casual. And you'll find that with a lot of millionaires. There was a book that came out. It was talking about the millionaire next door. And, people would be surprised who actually has a lot of money, but they don't show it. Now, see, reason I'm talking about this, because I know a lot of women, even though Rom said, check out some solid men. Check out some solid men. Get the fantasy man out your head. And, I know what I'm saying is falling on deaf ears at times. Because I know, regardless of what I say, some women going to be like, well, go for that money guy. In fact, when I've talked about that on here about, you got to look for more than just the money. I've had some women, some pushback, and that's cool. But here's the thing. A lot of women, even if you dead set on getting that money, man, there's times you could walk right past them. There's times, seriously, there's some guys out here making money and, they ain't going to show it. They ain't going to wear that fly clothing. In fact, I know somebody now making $250,000 and, him and his wife, they live, you wouldn't think they had anything. They got a little small house, but, people don't know their whole property. They own like a major land of property, but you can't tell from seeing the house. It's just a plain old house. Everything. Dude dresses very plainly, You would think they would just, if you saw him, you would think he was just, you would literally think he was just somebody maybe At best, some blue collar dude, the way he dresses. At best. You know? Maybe a cleaner than average, you know, he don't get his hands dirty, but you would think that. But no, still get paid out the wazoo. You know? But he don't put his money into vehicles or how he dresses. You know, there's a lot of them like that. Sometimes they ain't the flyest looking. You know, they don't have social media. Sometimes they just make their money. They be chilling. And the reason why I'm saying, okay, if a woman is insistent on getting that money, man, well, sometimes that guy who might approach you or you somewhere and he started talking, he might be the owner. In fact, I remember there's a couple times I've seen this. There'd be some guys who actually own a business and they'll say somebody important to come in and go to one of the workers there or something. Because they thinking the worker is the one who owns it while the like owner sitting back chilling laughing. It's like, oh, you passing me over? Okay. Seriously, they ain't spectacular and especially depending on where the guy came from. Because, you know, if you get some guys who are self-made millionaires or at least six figures, when it's self-made, it means they didn't come from money, which means, one, they still got the habits of when they were in a lower social class, but then they realize how people can be. Because you think about it, some cousin or something, you see this with some athletes, maybe some rappers, right? Or especially with athletes, they sign that contract or something. All of a sudden, relatives, they ain't know their head come out the woodwork. It's like, or like when somebody wins the lottery or something, all of a sudden you get cousins you didn't know you had. Like, my co-parent was actually real cool with a Maryland lottery winner back around 2007. Real cool. He actually gave us a couple of laptops, like high-end laptops, right? But dude said people were just hitting him up, just asking for money. They weren't even saying, got his email and they just straight up asking for money. They ain't give a sob story. Most of them gave a sob story, but he said some just say, hey, look, I want this. So, you know, you start making some money, all of a sudden some relatives coming for you and everything. In fact, some dudes, they might not even deal with their relatives or at least give their relatives, depending on a relative, they might not give them any indication they making money. That's how deep it is. And then, definitely don't go back to the hood or wherever they came from. They know they go back to their old hood and it wasn't, up there. They like, oh, shoot, wait a minute. I can't be telling them what I'm doing. Because people know. And plus, I'm going to tell you what, a lot of them low-key for one simple reason. And not even all the other stuff. One simple reason, a very big simple reason. They realize a lot of women out there looking for a guy with money. And so these guys are slick, so they'll be low-key about it. I've known quite a few men who, they making big money. They weren't millionaires, but six-figure type of guys living in a nice house. They would say if they went on a date, they would go in a messed up car. Like I remember when I was in Atlanta back in September, doing something, working on a project, met this dude, and he had a bummy car. This dude had a bummy car. I mean, he didn't have any electricity. He said if it rained, his windshield wipers might or might not work. And I didn't really think about it. And we had to go back to his house or something. And I just thought, oh, okay, he probably live in some bummy place or something. And I was cool with it. I wasn't judging him or anything. He got back to his place. I was like, oh, shit, you live here? 5-room, like, mini mansion. That was a nice ass house. Plus, he had a late model car and a motorcycle in his garage, but he drove the Hooptie. And he said he'd show up to dates in the Hooptie. So a lot of guys, they'll be low-key because they want to see where the woman is at. If does a woman want them or the money? So just understand that, right? Because ultimately, if a money man marries or he gets a woman, he wants to know the woman wants him, not his money, not how much he make, not his status, wants him. And if that's how he got to test it, boom. That's a regular thing. That's a regular thing with a lot of guys who got money. They'll have 2 cars and purposely go on that date in the Hooptie, in the bad car. And then if you real cool with them and everything, they'll let you see where they live. In fact, I heard of one guy, he went this far. I heard a story about this. I don't know how true it is. It's like one of those few things I heard something. I don't know. Usually I try to share shit I've seen directly, but supposedly this guy had a big old like mini mansion in one place. But he also paid for, he was making enough money. He actually paid for an apartment in a low rent type of neighborhood, you know. He paid for it like kind of a bad neighborhood and stuff. And so when he would deal with women, he'd never take them to the mansion. He would take them to the low rent place just to see how they responded. And when they responded funky, he was like, oh, okay. So, and like I said, with that one, I didn't see that one directly. That's something somebody told me, and you know, you take it with you take that one with a grain of salt. But then, just to be real, ladies, some guys at the very least, I personally seen guys at the very least show up in a bad car. You shouldn't, you know. So it is what it is. So many money men are low key. Keep that in mind. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace and blessings.